What's going on, everybody? Hope you're good. I'm going to be doing today's little video on harmonic ambience. Now, what harmonic ambience to me is non-musical parts that are in harmony, that have relative harmony to the original track, that add depth and ambience to your song. So a lot of the times people like record an acoustic guitar and a voice, and they're not really sure how to make that sound like in a fully fledged production. I just want to caveat that by saying you don't need to put harmonic ambience in every track you have, but if you're looking to create a bit more depth in your music, I'm talking literally about sonic depth, not like metaphorical depth. You can do so by adding harmonic ambience. So you can add all of these layers I'm about to show you, or you can add one or two of them just to slightly bring the track into a different space. So what I've done now is I've just literally played some guitar chords that are dry nylon string guitar, which you can see here, and I've sang an ad-lib vocal take, which is sort of like a melody which will sort of bounce off of. So this is a freestyle vocal take, please don't judge me. And this is my first take of a guitar, but I thought it'd be helpful to do this with some music, because a lot of the times I've been showing you some like production ideas without music in context. So I want to do it with music. So I'll just play it through really quickly. Let me see if I can hear it. I'm making up sad. I'm going down to lake, and you don't ever come around again. Since no one's got see, oh, I hear something. Right. Anyway, I was hearing something crazy. So, what I'd like to suggest first is going through like my checklist of like, we hear a dry acoustic track right now. What does it need? And how can we add a level of depth without taking away from the naked dryness of it? So first thing I'll suggest is a drone-based reverb print. So I'll just write these up here to start from scratch. Drone-based reverb print. Now what this is a quick attacked sound in relative harmony to the track. So we know this chord, I know this chord is in B major to E major, sort of B7 to E sus, but sort of B major, E major. So I'm thinking about all the notes that can work as a drone-based reverb print within this chord structure, which would either be, obviously, I mean, most of them really, because they're both in the same, could be A, B, A flat, E, E flat, cat. That might be a bit of a tricky one, but what I'm going to do is do that with a Rhodes sound. So we're going to get a fast attack. Here we go. I'm making up sad. So what we're going to do first is this is the B. We're going to chuck an extremely long reverb on it. What I like to do is just easily chuck on a Valhalla vintage reverb on the stock preset, make it like 18 seconds. Make the mix about, 100% is fine, because all we want is the wet tail. And we're just going to go like this. I'm making up sad. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we've got the extremely long reverb on this piano, and we're just going to bounce it in place. Okay? What that's doing is bouncing the effect into the waveform, and we're going to drag it out. And if we click like all the way over here, it'll be the wet reverb. We're just going to chop out a random section, because we know this is the start of the signal. This is the trail off of the 20-second reverb. So we just can literally chop anywhere random like here, and chop anywhere random like here. Delete it, duplicate the track, drag it anywhere. There's no rules. You can literally drag it like that. You can have it like that. We're going to fade them so they don't click, and we're just going to loop them and pan them. So now what we'll have is this. And now we want to level match them, so but it's, in my opinion, it doesn't matter that they're coming out sort of randomly. I mean, this track is not even played to click, so that right there, if we send these two now to a bus and call this like plain drone, we can like EQ it, we can like turn it up more if I create a track for it. Now, so now I'm controlling the volume from this drone. So here. She's no it's gotta make her believe that in my head I've been dreaming about the ego. I'm just gonna roll off some low end. I've been going down. Now if I keep playing the track and then mute this drone, let's see what happens. You've been going across away. It's annoying. Now what we have there is the luxury of having a really upfront vocal, upfront guitar, and that drone is instantly put the track in a slightly atmospheric space, which gives it a depth without needing to put reverb on the guitars or vocal. So there's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is having that same drone. Maybe let's just have one of them and make it centralized. But maybe let's get an earlier part so it's a bit louder and chop anywhere. Honestly, no rules, chop anywhere. We just want the drone. I'm making upset. Let's loop it. And then what we'll do is chuck a tremolo on the bus, or tremolo, since it's in mono, it could be on the actual channel, but for the sake of now, let's put it on the bus. So literally I just use a stock standard Logic tremolo. We want it to be wide, really slow moving. So what this means is every one bar, it'll go from the right ear to the left ear. And we make the depth really high. Let's just hear it by itself. And the idea is you want it to sort of go like this. So you smooth it out. We can make it even 3 bars so that it's sort of basically flying around the ears. Now let's level it in the track. And you don't ever come. Annoyingly, the attack is quite strong on this one, so let's do it again. I'm making upset. I'm going down slowly, and you don't ever come around again. She's no. Same sort of concept. There's like a sound, putting it in the back, it's moving around, giving the track a bit more movement. That's a good way of doing it. And I guess the final time. So let's delete this. Let's go back to having this one here. Let's make sure these are level matched. And then the final tactic, so that would be tremoloed drone. The final tactic would be randomized volume swell or creative volume swell. And so what I mean by that is using the drone in between moments of like, not creativity, but like using the drone as like a creative expression to like give the track some dynamics. So I'll give you another example. If we have it on 0 volume, we're just going to write it. We can even latch this, which means like we're writing in the automation as I'm doing something. Here we go. I'm making upset. I'm going down. Don't ever come around again. And you get the idea. So you can see now we've written all that audio automation. If you want to clean it up, you can just draw one point and like straighten it out like that and do more of a, you know, I want it to basically go like that in between the vocal. You can see I'm bringing it down with the vocal down here. So that's another tactic, but that's basically as much as you can sort of fledge out a drone, really. Now, next thing, pedal note, dry versus natural. So let's just like delete this drone sound, get out of automation. I mean, let's just delete this. So pedal note is a thing I always talk about, but that also adds a lot of like depth to a track. Even though it's dry, it's adding movement and depth. So I'll give you an example. We know that this song's in like B major, so I'm going to play just like B, maybe E, potentially I'll see what happens, and another B, and we'll see what it sounds like after I play for about a minute. So pedal note dry, here we go. I'm making up sad, I'm going down slowly, and you don't ever can be out of time. She's no one's gotta make her believe that in my head I've been dreaming about the ego and all the stand. So you get the idea, and then we just turn it right down. You can have it like panned for creativity, and then it'll just subtly. I'm going down slowly. If I mute it, you don't ever come around again. Now, on top of that, you can duplicate this exact pedal note track, reverse it, and you have two dry pedal notes, and so they're not clogging up the lane with like reverb, and you can pan them, so you got like dry moments coming in here and there. Here we go. I'm going down slowly, and you don't ever come around again. She's no one's gotta make her believe. Okay, cool. That's another way of adding harmonic ambience. So you have like on top, you could have that layered also with the clouded drone reverb print. Now, second thing, it's all quite similar concepts, but remember this is sort of like non-musical harmonic additions. Before I did this, I just did a random piano take. I'll just show you what it is. Out of time with the music. Now, what I'm going to do, no rules. I'm literally going to choose 4 areas, random areas. 1, 2, let's, I don't know, delete that. 3, 4, let's just do 5 areas. Why not 5? So here are our musical areas. We're going to create 5 different tracks. Literally chuck them, don't have to be the same length. This is why I call like harmonic chaos. This one, why not? No rules, literally like pan them. That one can go there, that one could be hard right, that one could be like hard left, that one's slightly right, that one's centralized. We're going to fade them again, loop them. Remember I just did nothing, I just made up some random ones. Bus 15, let's make sure they're all going to bus 15. Piano chaos. I'm going to create this track, right click, Apple or Control T. Now let's just listen to these quickly. Now to like mix it up, make it interesting, I'm going to hold Option, make this one really quick. I'm going to hold Option. Option basically is time stretching. I'm going to drag this to the right. I'm going to maybe pitch this one up like an octave, just because, I don't know, it might be weird. Let's keep that how it is, and let's keep that how it is. Let's listen again. How about I click this one here and reverse this one? And we're just going to start from 0 and we're just going to fade it into the track. I'm making upset. I'm going down. Let's chuck in these pedals as well. And you don't ever come around again. Since no one's gotta make a believe. Now, if you find you can turn these up, if you want them more present but tucked back in the mix, you can put like a room reverb on them. What I like to do is like about 70% really short room. So you're just taking away a bit of the attack now versus this. So let's put it back in. I've been dreaming about the evening going on the stay, no stay. And you get the vibe. So that's like the piano drive signal randomized chopping. Now, cool. So let's just keep those in. Let's put sort of all these above the main ideas, which are like here. Now, another thing I like to do is like expressive, similar to the volume swell, is like an expressive synth drone to add a bit more texture. Let's just see if this is working. Oh, right, it's probably muted. And I'm going to need to do this. Let me just quickly change headphones. Let's check the level quickly. I'm making upset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to this vocal. I'm going to ride the cutoff. This is what I call like, so hold on, we've got piano, chaos, atmos. I've got cutoff rides, basically expressing off the vocal. So here we go. Let's try it. I'm making upset. I'm going down. Yeah, so same concept. We're gonna start from 0 and just ring this in as where we feel like it's non-obtrusive to the original feel of the track. Now, I think this could actually just be quite wet, so I'm just going to chuck a reverb on the channel. Let's go for it. Maybe keep a bit of the dry, but just to give it a bit of a trail so that when it swells up, for example, this moment. Now, on top of that, actually, let's make that reverb longer so it trails, roll off the lows. And on top of that, we can do the tremolo technique just to make sure it gets out of the way. We can make it really long, like over the case of 3 bars. Not very smooth, so it's like really hard left and hard right, so it's not really getting in the middle. Let's listen again to this bit. This is what you're listening for. Anyway, that's the idea of that. And moving on to the final thing is sort of like how to manipulate vocal to create that another element of atmosphere. So I'm just gonna keep this synth one. Okay, why not? Maybe just like, I don't know, drag that one there. No pressure. Honestly, that's what atmosphere is for. So what I like to do is what's called like the chopping out of the end of a phrase vocal technique. is that how it's worded? I'm just going to turn all that processing off. You saw this in my last stem lottery, but I'll give you another example of how to create it. So we're just going to get the end of a phrase here. I'm making upset. So let's just randomly chop a bit of that phrase, chuck it here, loop it. And just really turn it down. So let's go again. I'm making upset. I'm going down. But let's like pan it. So the idea is we sort of want it to fade in after this is fading in, so we're hearing a bit of the vocal trailing. I'm going down and you don't ever come around again. So same thing there. Again. We're just going to literally randomly chop it, loop it, and make sure we fade it, and then same sort of principle, we're going to like start it a bit lower, bring it up to a level. She's no, it's gotta make her believe that in my head I've been dreaming about the ego and all the stain, So let's get one of these ones. I'm just going to literally loop it. I'm just literally chopping out a random bit, looping it, starting it lower than where we want it, and then bringing it in. But this one's a bit louder. Remember, I'm just being a bit loose with it right now. Like, you can be a bit more calculated. I've been going down the wrong road. You've been going across the way. Listen, no, I gotta leave my head above. Leave my head. Let's get that last one to like add the final tension. Loop it. Start lower than where we want, bring it down, and then pan that to the left because this one's on the right. Going fresh, I'm so generational. I'm so generational. Going for. Okay, that's the vocal chopping technique of adding textures. I'll show you all these without the original at the end, if I remember. Vocal freeze, which is quite a complicated thing, but I'll quickly go through it now. When there's a really epic moment of the vocal, there's a vocal freeze reverb. In my head. So let's say it's there. So let's create a vocal thing to this atmosphere verb. And this atmosphere verb, just to show you, is the lexicon. Let's make it even longer. Wait, how do you do it? Yeah, I think that's fine. We're just going to send this on that word only. Now where it gets complicated is we need to actually let's just change this for the sake of consistency to a stupid, like, I don't know, 30-second reverb. Roll off the lows and let's really modulate it to get a bit of like color. Here we go. In my head. But now let's modulate it and get a slight tremolo on the reverb of this vocal throw, so a bit more, but there's not in time. That's the only thing. In my head, I've been dreaming about the. So what I would do there is, this is the reverb here. I've sent this to a full track reverb. So if I don't automate it, it's going to be like this. What I like to do is have it trailing after. I'm going to turn this tremolo off. I want to have it trailing after it. So what I like to do is either latch it like this and ride it live. In my head, I've been dreaming about the going on the step. And then it can hit on this one again. No! Of which it sort of comes down again and goes back up afterwards. Slightly more advanced. I've been going down the wrong road. You've been going quite away. Listen, no, I gotta leave my head, but leave my head. Let's really hit this one here. Same concept. We're smacking it. We're having it lower. We're going to let the tail of the reverb come up afterwards. And you're letting that tail of the previous throw like add a bit of atmosphere without getting in the way of the other vocal throws. And then the final way of adding atmosphere, sorry, I know it's getting quite intense, I'm trying to like speed it up, is I like to sing an ad-lib take like 5 times. So if I go like this, I'm making up sad. I'm going down. Don't ever go down again. Since no one's got. Anyway, so I've got like 4 different takes there. I can use this one, I can use that one, I can use this one, I can use that one. So I'm just going to create 4 different tracks, drag each one on their own track, as you know, fade them, and pan them, loop them. Oh shit. Now, before I do anything, I need to get the stock standard Logic plugin, which is called Space Designer. Usually like a medium length reverb, but for this, let's just use the stock standard verb so you can understand. And what this does is like, it's just a reverse reverb and it gives a lot of like texture. We're going to lower the low end on it to get rid, to get rid of the mod. Make it a bit longer and literally just chuck that same reverb on everything. We're going to send all these reverbs to a bus if they work. Yep, called vocal wet. Create that bus. We're going to like basically fade it in over time and let's get it. Okay, so it's 0 at the moment.
I'm making up sad. I'm going down to late, and you don't ever come around again. Since no one's gotta make a believe that in my head I've been dreaming about the ego and no mistake, no mistake. I've been going down the wrong road. You've been going across the way.
If I mute the original sounds, and that's all harmonic ambience is. That is like literally non-musical ideas creating more depth. If I bring them back, bring the original sounds back in, and if I delete all the harmonic ambience,
Going for it. I'm so generational. Leave my going for it. I'm so generational. I'm so generational. Going for. I'm so
and that's how you create. Like, so what I would do in this situation now, I've got all these textures, I would like bring them in different moments to like highlight. The worry is you can it's so fun creating atmospheric textures. You can easily like you know, create too many and the track becomes too cloudy. So maybe choosing 2 of your favorite of this bunch and then going in and diving deep and like finding the moments where they work the best. But hopefully like that helps you. So what we covered again, drone bass I mean, just go watch the video again, because I feel like there's some gems in here that would really help lift a section or an intro or something like that. So anyway, good luck. Hope you had a good time.